Oh yeah, everyone. So today, I'm up on that with Basil. I'm not sure what series this is because I haven't been as proactive with it as I should have been for the last couple of weeks. But today, I'm very lucky to be joined by someone I've known since I was 8 years of age, who would bet the head off me when I was 8 years of age. Actually. Probably 9, 10, 11 and 12 as well. But growing up with in Gorey Boxing Club and would have hurled football against each other, went to school together, but you're a year older than me. But if you're to look this man up on Instagram, his tag is Run Furlong, right? Or Shane Run Furlong. And I always thought it was to do with ultramarathons, but it's actually his surname, so I'm a Mongo. So everyone, here's Shane Furlong.
Well, how are we doing? How are we getting on, folks?
So yeah, we were just talking before we turned on the phone. Everyone has a journey and everyone has a story, and like I said to you, I've known you the mainstay in my life.
Yeah.
But your journey has taken a massive twist and turn, I suppose. At times you went travelling after school and
yeah, done a lot of things, a lot of stupid things, a lot of good things, I suppose, after that. But yeah, went off travelling at 25. Stuck in a rut in around Gorey, drinking, partying, acting the bollocks, being a bollocks, I suppose, hurling football, not putting no effort in.
Now I will say, I think it's to jump in there and to give you a bit of a break as well. We hit a massive recession around that time too, when just before you all went travelling.
Yeah. I was actually I was actually very lucky in one way we hit, because I actually gave up a job to go, and then got wind of the job about to actually go, and ended up staying back for a few extra months to get redundancy pay, and then went on to Australia. So I was actually, in that sense, lucky enough.
Yeah.
Ireland wasn't a bad place then for me, really. Like during them 2000s, like we were doing well. We were getting well paid. I was truck driving at the time. We were doing a lot of hours, but we were getting a lot of money. But to be honest with you, 99% of it has left behind blues walls and these places pissing up against the wall and wasted. And I suppose it was immaturity with me once I landed in Sydney. It took me a few months over there too, but you don't be long about maturing when you get away and you land in Australia. You grow up. Things still follow you, you know what I mean? Like you're drinking and you're partying still go on. It goes to the next level, but you kind of grow up fairly quick. You kind of realise Mammy's not here to wash my boxer shorts this year. So.
No, these things happen, but then I think, like I said, I don't even know if you're a full year older than me, but you're a year ahead of me in school, and you boxed 1 year ahead of me, so.
Yeah. No.
I know. And I'd say we're probably going to match up here now in a second when we go into it more. But my biggest battle was drink. And I know that for a fact. But there was such... Shane, think about what's going on. There was such a drink culture. Everything surrounded the pub. Winning a match, pub. Lose a match, pub.
And it is. And it's look, it depends what it does for you. Some people can drink and that's great, but I couldn't. Yeah. I couldn't have 2 pints. I had to have 22 pints.
Yeah.
I had to try and get to, and that was the problem. If I'd have put half the effort into the hurling and football and the boxing and all, I suppose I might have been a bit better at them. But I was too busy enjoying the drinking because it was easier to get pissed than it was to get putting effort into the hurling and football.
Yeah.
And my biggest problem was I used to blame everyone else. It was everyone else's fault.
You're right.
But it wasn't everyone else's fault. It was, you know what I mean? You have to respond. You have to be responsible. It's your own doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the time, you don't know that. And with maturity, that comes. And self-destruction is an awful thing. People suffer with it. If I got into a rut now at 42 years of age and was in my bad form at home, I'd be, Jesus Christ, everything is falling against me. Poor me, but it's not poor me. Do you know what I mean? Everyone suffers.
Hello.
But it's a matter of actually, you need to figure out how and what works for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of things out there for everyone. Running is my thing. Ultra running is my thing, right? I'm absolutely brutal at. There's no ands or buts about it, but I have a stubbornness for it, and I enjoy where it brings me. And it's a lot of therapy. I had a bad accident a couple of years ago where a poor man decided to commit suicide and walked under me.
Right.
Sadly, luckily enough, he didn't succeed in it. But the man is in care at home, and he'll be in care for the rest of his life now. Right. He's never going to be able to walk again or nothing. He's no movement. But like, it blew me completely out of water for
that
4 or 5 months. Like,
massively.
but to be honest with you, like, therapy is brilliant. It's great that it's out there. It's there for everybody.
Yeah.
And it is brilliant for some people. And I went to it, but after about 3 sessions, I was talking to the woman below in Wexford the same as talking to anybody. Do you know, I wasn't getting that release of it. But if I go out running, I do get that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And maybe it's a bit of time to yourself. You get to chat to yourself. You get when you're struggling a little bit and all. But when it comes to the ultras, it's a different story. Like when you get deep into that part of it.
Yeah.
But that's not for everyone either. Some people hate running. Do you know? But there's definitely something out there. But sport is definitely, I think, a way of doing it. But just having to find that sport and having the balls to put your hands up and say, I'm going into a gym and all. And I heard you saying a few weeks ago, like, you go into a gym and you're lifting something wrong. Someone comes over to you, they're more than likely only going to give you a pointer to help you out. They're definitely not going to laugh at you and make bollocks of you. Now, you'll always might get the one person that might say something. But I can guarantee you 99% of the people are only there to give you a bit of a dig. And whatever it is, don't be afraid to go in and give it a rattle.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's a pity I didn't live that life when I was younger. I might have played more things and got on better.
Oh, but sure, look, but again, and I'm not making excuses for our behaviour, I suppose, because like what you said, and you're taking full ownership of the mistakes you made, and I've always taken full ownership of the mistakes I made. Like I treated people horrendously when I wish I hadn't.
Oh, same as that.
You know what I mean?
Same as that.
And a lot of that fell down to, honestly, being lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, what people don't understand about addiction or any form of addiction, whether it's drink, drugs, training, whatever it is, it's escapism. Do you know what I mean? We're all trying to escape from.
You're trying to avoid something.
And yeah, finding in the bottom of a pint glass for me was where I was going with it. And then, look, I do think it gets to a point, and maybe Australia was yours, but that maturity comes, or that wake-up call where you realise, I need to cop the fuck on here, like, you know.
Oh, yeah, because you're only heading one way, sadly. And like, do you know what I mean? Whether it's drug, drinks, fags, whatever the hell it is, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to end well, like.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no one going out every night and having the greatest night of their life, like.
No.
Do you know what I mean? There's people that are fucking 60 years of age, grandfathers, and they might go out for a pint and they end up saying something. The next day they're fucking suffering on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, we use drink as a celebratory thing. We go for a pint to win the county final. Then the next day, well, fuck this now. I'm after having a whole of a day's work. I'm going in the beer as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't be going with the same mindset. You can't be going with a negative mindset to something that you're also celebrating. Like, it's just a dangerous road you're going to end up on.
No, it isn't. But unfortunately, I suppose, like, we grew up in late 80s, early 90s. Like, drink was centered around everything. Like, it was just.
Well, the 90s and the 90s, really. I suppose when you think back to like the 70s and 80s, like your own father and my father, they didn't have the money to drink the volume we had.
Yeah.
We were the produce of a boom where money was everywhere.
Or a fake Celtic tiger.
Exactly, yeah. Like, money was everywhere. Like I can see it even now. Like, you go out now and, like, it's not very often I go out, but I go out. I was at a wedding a couple of years ago, and the queues of young lads. It's an awful thing to say, to going into the toilets. And like, we was talking to a few different people like that would be out more often. They're saying, like, it just goes with the boom time. The more money, the more partying.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? People go a little bit further, and that's how they get caught with the cocaine, they get caught with pills and stuff. Like, people just have the money for it.
Yeah.
And I suppose, like, it's all great and rosy until something goes wrong. It's all great until it goes wrong, and that's it. Like, well, how are you getting on? How's things? And like, the world is not easy anyway without negative things on top of you, like drugs or drink.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with drink. People drink and people are well able to drink, but it never suited me. And there's a lot of people in both sides of my family it didn't suit either.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nothing against it. Like, if you want to drink, you can drink, but you just have to learn a way to deal with it. Like, and to me, it was the running. You know, that sort of way. Like, it's a. And
would you find? So I was going to say to you about the. Like, I try to train every day now. To what? Like, when you talk about some people don't like running, I absolutely hate it. I'm in the middle of this February thing. I'm trying to run 30 minutes every day. Now I blipped up yesterday. I was caught with work, so I didn't get one. But I get 30 in today. I got 30 and I had a lovely run with Darren O'Toole here. the other
Yeah,
day.
I seen it. I was laughing. The Masters boxer.
So, yeah, Masters boxers, yeah. So, for me, back to what you said there, like, any half decent idea I have outrunning. Do you know what I mean? Any half decent clarity I need, I have out walking or running. Do you know that way? So,
Well, you'll find it in your own. Like, it's the same as going back to, like, if you're in the
look at they're camera shy. They're camera shy.
if you're going to therapy is absolutely brilliant. There's no doubt about it, and it is super. But sometimes your own medicine is get out on your own.
Yeah.
And that means whether it be in the gym with your headphones in,
Yeah.
whether it be out climbing the hills, whether it be out running, whether it be out walking, swimming, whatever you do. 99% of the time, I think, when we're doing things wrong, we know we're doing them wrong before we ever do them wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I cracked it. A few months ago, I was out, a bit of a rut myself last year, actually. I had a few weddings and I was drinking, and I went on the beer one Sunday evening for a couple of pints. And I got up next morning in bad form, in real bad form.
Yeah.
And what did I do when I got back on the beer? But sure, I knew that I shouldn't have been. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't going to benefit me. Do you know?
No. Look at, they're not giving out. Look at two of the most aggressive people in the world. Look at.
And the drinking the
I can't, and I won't edit out. I won't edit out my second mammy if I can call and tell me to fuck off there on camera.
All right.
How are you, mammy?
I'm all right.
Oh. Back now, Shane. Take up where you are.
But yeah, do you know what I mean? Like 90% of the time, we know we're not getting the benefit out of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you go out for your run, by fuck, it might feel like shite. But at the end of it, you're going to get benefit. If you go to the gym, you go for your swim. Do you know what I mean? There's only goodness going to come out of it.
Yeah.
It's not badness.
No,
and like,
no.
I'm a big person for the early morning one as well. Now, it doesn't suit everyone, but like, I can get out of bed for work time, 3:30, 3:15 in the morning, and get me run done at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, it sets you up for the day perfectly, I think.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Well, I'm not now. We're going to different. I'm not. I stay up too late, and I love to lie in, but I agree with you. My first thing in the day, I like to train alright, because it changes your whole attitude. And me and Darren here the other day, so Darren hadn't been doing a massive amount of training, and we just said it like, and he felt way better, and he just said like, this is we more or less both just agreed, like, it's free antidepressant medication.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You'll never regret a training
But it's the same thing as Darren said, like, you know what I mean, what you get out of it. Everyone knows what you get out of it.
Yeah.
But it's just if you get stuck in a negative little buzz, like, and Jesus, put my hands up, some of the boys are going to listen to this now and say, fuck is that lad talking about negativity, because I could be and can be if I get stuck in it.
Yeah.
But like, it's the same as everything. It's like the algorithm on your phone. If you're looking up fucking boxing on Instagram, it's going to be full with boxing.
Yeah.
If you're looking up negativity, or you're involving yourself with negativity, you're going to be negative. So you have to try and this is not all about positive, going around smiling from ear to ear every day either.
No.
Do you know what I mean? That's not a real life. There's no person does that. No person can do it.
No.
Do you know? But you have to find your own thing. And I suppose it's better now. Like 20 years ago, like, it was a bit of like people.
Well, 20 years ago, no, we weren't having this conversation.
No, absolutely not. People went into St. Sentence and they came out and they were told to keep it quiet nearly. Do you know? Well, not told to keep it quiet, but you know what I mean? Like, it was like, oh yeah, no, you don't need to tell anyone. But like, I'm nearly the opposite now. I went from one way to the other. Like, I'd be shouting it nearly. You know, I wouldn't give a shit who knows what. Like,
Yeah.
you know, simple as that.
And like that, I remember years ago, like, someone that we would clearly know is very unwell, and people say, "Oh, God love me, suffers with his nerves."
Yeah.
No, the man is very unwell. Like, do you know
It's
what I mean?
fucking facts. And then the worst of it was, I'd say probably no one rang him and went, "Are you all right?"
Yeah.
Do you know what I
I
mean?
had
We
that
talk
thought.
about him in the pub instead.
Yeah.
Do you know? And you obviously are very open about it with Bulger. Like, I went to school with Bulger.
Yeah.
I put my hands up now. We weren't best friends or friends. Do you know? But
Yeah.
I was in lots of classes with him and all. And I remember when that came out, thinking, why would he do that? Sure,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Sure, he was a great soccer player. Like, that was the mentality we had sadly at the time. And as you said earlier, like, there's no one, like, you don't know who's suffering.
No. And
Do you know
when
what
we were in getting the coffee, I just it's mad, right? So people, every walk of life, right? There's 2 or 3 different things that are going to clip everyone, like drugs. Drugs has no class. Drugs will hit everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
is susceptible to fall into addiction, right? But the very same as with depression or any form, because everything comes from something, and everyone carries trauma, and your trauma could be getting dropped for the under 16
That's
county
it.
final. My trauma could be coming from an abusive house. Now, thankfully, I didn't, and thankfully you didn't
Yeah,
get dropped because your
yeah.
daddy was over the team. but,
He'd be more likely to drop me.
no, he actually probably did drop. But yeah, so like everyone's trauma is different, and we all carry it different. But I done a lovely workshop I'm lucky the last 2 weeks. I done one in Cedar Lodge in Wexford, and I done one in Slaney Manor, right? And people from different walks of lives, obviously horrendous journeys to get to where they are. But the very same, we all carry trauma the same way, and everyone is looking for that escape from it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And my thing, if running or doing this or boxing was my escape.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Do you know what I mean? So like, but they're healthy. Well, boxing not so much maybe, but they're healthy escapes, for want of a better word. Do you know what I mean? You have to find something that.
As we were saying earlier, do you know what I mean? It doesn't really discriminate. Do you know what I mean? Mental health, or which is an easy word to say now, obviously, but like as you said, trauma, anything, escapism.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter your colour, it doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter your gender. People have different ways of doing it. Like I go running, and the wife has no interest in running. She goes gymming for her side of it. You know, like everyone will find something, but it's a lot better. The world is a lot better now for acknowledging it.
Yeah.
But we're still not in any better place of mending it. Because like social media can be the greatest thing in the world, but it can also be the most toxic. But it can be a great thing. Like I know people who have started companies on it and have a whole new life because of it.
Yeah.
But then you have the toxic side of it, where children are being ruined and being insulted online at 15 and 16 and committing suicide from
it. There's a really powerful thing that, like, most of us will say we have to, right? So we have to go to work, we have to go for a run, we have to do this, we have to do that. Instead, a very easy way of changing that mindset is saying we get to, right? And that's hard, right? But we should think about that with our phones as well, in the sense that we should say our phones use us far more than we use our phones. Do you know what I mean? And it's like social media. This is going to be on it, and I'm a disaster for being on it. But if used correctly, can be beneficial.
It's a great tool, yeah.
But we just need to be mindful of it. And I'm going to say this now, and young people will definitely disagree. But I think there's way too much out there. Like, I don't think you should nearly. I think Snapchat and all should be blocked off to 18 nearly, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
Because
no, without a doubt. But I do see, because I only heard on the news the other day about Instagram having the under 16 rule coming in now, that they have to be verified and it'll be parental guidance and stuff. So hopefully that will support it, because
please God,
we're hearing too much of a 13-year-old committing suicide. A 13-year-old shouldn't even know what suicide is. No, to be honest with you. And if they do know about it, they're hearing about, well, if you think of this is the benefit. Not that they're actually doing it.
Well, it's look, there's, I suppose we have so many ways people are going to hear, and I do a lot of school talks, and I'm always conscious to say in the school, like, one of the we both made massive mistakes. We both hurt people that we wish we hadn't, right? And we both done silly things when we were growing up. But I think the world was a little bit more kind when we were growing up as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I do think kindness is sort of being like down to that, right? So she cursed at me messing, right? But isn't it lovely? Like, Mary wanted to come back, give me a hug. But this is it. That's nearly gone.
Oh, yeah. I mean?
That thing, and I was up here with Neve yesterday, and no, the day before, and a lady came over to someone, name her, and she just said, like, it's Basil, you're the first person to say hello to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And whereas we would have walked down the main street of Gorey and known everybody. And
Oh, your
said
voice would
hello.
go out at the end
Yeah.
of the street.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you'd have known everyone and spoke to everyone.
So, but now everyone just wants to, not being rude, everyone's mind their own business. Everyone has their own shit going on and they're too busy to care about anyone else, which is, in one sense, a good thing, but it's taking the community over.
It is taken. It is without a doubt. Like I do laugh. I do be in work, and I work up in Pfizer Pharmaceutical in Dublin, and you be talking to some of the people, and they're living in Dublin, in the city, you know, in the outskirts, whatever, and they don't know their neighbour's name.
Yeah.
And like, I know everyone in the little village. I'm only in Ballycanew 6 years, and so I probably know the guts of them already now.
Yeah.
Now I think half of them know because that's the mad lad doing the running, all right, because Ballycanew mightn't have seen a whole lot of runners in the day, and it's easy gobshite like me now out every day, but
Now, gobshite, right? So I think for other people and for probably me, punch drunk and stupid. But explain to us what ultra running is, or ultra marathon running.
so pretty much an ultra marathon or an ultra running is anything past a marathon. Pretty
Right.
much anything over the 26.2, and it goes up to huge distances. The longest I've done is a 300 kilometre one last year from one side of England to the other. But it can go from anything, like usually what to say, it's around the 50k, 50 miler, 100k, 100 miler sort of thing. But Ireland have some brilliant ones. Like we have the Kerry Way, which is pretty much a loop of Kerry, which is 200 kilometres. We have the Wicklow Way, which starts in Marley Park, which finishes in Clonegall, in Carlow.
Right.
Do you know, we've some super ways which are actually being massively developed at the moment now, which is, and I think that has shown the ultra running community has actually gone huge at the moment. Like if you do the Wicklow Way now, there's about 5 stops on it where people up on the mountaintops have literally built huts. The community has built huts for people to stay in. Do you know what I mean? There's people coming over hiking them. Like I done the Wicklow Way last October, and I met 2 Americans. So look, it took me 21 hours. I'm slow. I'm not good at the running. Simple as that. I'm a bit of a slogger, a bit stubborn. I'm able to keep going, but I'm not going at a great pace. But I met 2 Americans on it. I met a woman about 55 on it in the depths of October on her own hiking it, and I met a man then about 25 or 26 years of age about 5 or 6 hours later doing the same thing. Like it's getting massive over here. Like the trails are actually being looked after a bit.
Yeah.
But the ultra running is, as they say, like.
But how did you fall into it?
I tell you, I fell head first into it as usual. It's like everything with me. It's nearly an extreme. I'm an extreme bollocks, I can be an extreme drinker or an extreme partier. Like there's no half measures. I kind of go hell for leather.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law passed away under tragic circumstances in October 2019.
Yeah.
Literally overnight. Absolutely left the family in an awful state.
Yeah.
And literally said to myself, I want to do a bit of marathon. If I can take anything from the boxing, I always enjoyed the running of it.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of way. I always enjoyed the boxing, but I always enjoyed the running side of it.
That's the one bit I hate.
Yeah, but you were too big. You and Darren were too big, you see. That was the difference. I was only a little short arse, so it was easier for me. You were big, strong men, you know, that sort of way. But I kind of fell into it then. I kind of said I wanted to bucket list, I wanted to run a marathon. I had done a few runs, 10Ks, 15Ks, different things. Said I wanted to do a marathon. That was grand. Emma Gleeson, Tommy Morris's wife, who we both know, had run Dublin, her and Orla Furlong and a few of them, and I got quizzing about, you just entered Dublin Marathon next year. This is October 19, the marathon had just ran. I said, right, that's grand. Sorry, actually, my mother passed away, the mother-in-law passed away in April 19, sorry. October 19, I decided to run the marathon. And with that then, they announced the lottery system for the Dublin Marathon for the first time, and sure, getting a ticket for it was nearly impossible. So I says, right, that's grand, I'll do the Cork Marathon. And that was to be in May in 2020. And sure, we all know what happened in March in 2020.
Yeah.
Well, so all them went out the window.
Everything's gone bang.
Everything went bang. So be Jesus, I says, right, that's grand. So the 5k rule came in, and as I say, I live up under Ballycanew, and if I go out a couple of k out the road, I'm on Mount Leinster. And same thing, as we say, with the algorithm in the phones, I'd been looking up all about
a shelter for
running or whatever, and sure, there was different things going about hill running and mountain running, and I said, go up Mount Leinster for a walk. And done that, and with that, from day one, I remember on a Sunday evening, I went up to one of the lower hills. That was the end of me in a marathon. I didn't want to do a marathon. I wanted to do a hill run. So I enjoyed it. Enjoyed it. It was nice and slow. As I say, I'm not a fast runner, so it was nice and slow. I enjoyed the slow slog, but to be honest with you, getting up and looking off the view of the mountain, it's the reward, the isolation of it. You're on your own, and it brings us back to what we were saying earlier. Like, you're completely on your own up there.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. And with that, then of course, as whole hog, she wouldn't go halfway. As I actually went entered an ultramarathon, a 50-mile ultramarathon that runs in Bray the following September, and same thing. Then that was cancelled the week before, but I'd done all the training, so I was like, fuck this. So I went up and I done it virtually. So I done the 50 miles, the 80 kilometres up on the Black Stairs myself, and that was me hooked. Then it was a hell for nothing. The likes of that will bring you into places in your mind that you don't even know exist.
No, and you've led me on to my next question. I could only imagine the stuff that happens in your head on those runs.
Well,
like, because we all have to fight that. Back, like, Darren hadn't been running, and I said to him, look, whatever you do, we're going to run for 30 minutes, as far or as slow or however far we do, but whatever we do, we don't stop. Because your brain will tell you to stop.
Oh, Jesus, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And especially, like, whether, like, your 5K, someone else's 500K, it makes no difference, like. Do you know what I mean? But the one thing I'll always say, and I won't say where you say, like, we won't stop. I wouldn't even be into that. Like, stop if you have to stop, but walk. But as you say, don't stop completely, maybe.
Yeah.
But, like, as far as I can see is, if you're out, you're passing the person that's on the couch.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. And I always put it up, because I'm glad you pointed out that I'm too big of a lug to run fast anyhow, right? But I always put up, moving however slowly is moving.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's still better than lying down or whatever. But the whole point of up and at it with Basil and the talk with yourself even is that what you're talking about, yes, right, it's going to cost you a few pounds to get a pair of runners.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But to go on the beer for a night, going to cost you €120. You'd have a lovely pair of runners for €120 and no hangover.
You will, and as well as that, if you go out in the beer and you spend your €120, you're finished tomorrow. It's over. Like, you buy the pair of runners, you get a few days out. It's not single use.
No, you'll get your value out of it. So, like, the whole point about all of these is that I'm hoping it gets to people that, like, people in Ballycanew that I wouldn't know, that will have never seen an up and at it with Basil, right? They might look at it and they'll clip and they'll say, do you know what? There's a method in his madness. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all we want, like, and it's just to help anybody, because I honestly do believe everybody is struggling. And and
there's no one not, and anyone that I think that says that they're not, pretty much has to be telling some sort of lie, or they've pretty much found the golden chalice and haven't told the rest of us. Because somewhere, like as the story was said about Robin Williams, the loudest man in the room was probably suffering the most, and sure, him, like, the funniest man in the world.
God rest.
You know what I mean? Like, so everyone has something, no matter how small or how big it is. And it could be down to me mammy give out to me, or it could be someone has passed away close to me. Do you know what I mean? Their justification, the small thing to someone else is as big as the big thing to someone else. You know, it's all the same.
And it's like I always say, in every workshop I do with MBK or in every school talk I do with the guards or anything, I always say that if you can think of us as a pint glass, right, and you put us underneath a leaky tap.
Yes.
And every little thing that happens or goes wrong is another drop going into the pint glass. Eventually that pint glass is going to overflow.
Fact, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So we have to learn how to empty the pint glass safely.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for you, it's ultra running. Or not even ultra running, maybe running.
Just running in general, yeah.
For me, it's... I'm actually getting a massive amount out of doing the workshops for MBK and going in and seeing the response from that. And then, look, training is all I know. It's all I've done. But I won't lie to you. The little lad woke at 6 this morning, was mad to get up. His friends are coming over today, and I wanted no more than another 2 or 3 hours in his bed, right? And I'd have killed him at 6 o'clock. I nearly did. Sorry, MJ. And but I got up and I said, you know what? Don't go back to bed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I had this meeting that I nearly forgot about. So, but no, and it is like it's doing it as opposed to thinking about doing it. It's going and the very like honestly the hardest part of anything is actually going.
Yeah, getting out the door.
Getting out the door is the
Like
hardest
if some people get hit that bad, they're not able to get out the door.
Yeah.
Do you know that sort of way?
Yeah.
But like the first step is always the hardest step. Do you know what I mean? And it comes down to if it's bad enough that you need to reach out for therapy. Like that first initial phone call and saying, "Oh, I need therapy." That's probably the hardest thing you're going to do.
Yeah.
The rest of it will probably be easier after that.
And I'm very lucky, like I'm my worst. And look, I've had bad since, but I'm really lucky. I've a wife who manages me wherever and I manage me, right? And Eve is brilliant at managing my bipolar, for want of a better word, right? But I remember my sister finding me. And she had noticed this not getting out the door thing, right? She had noticed these traits, these little things. I was either in the pub, in work, playing a match,
Or sitting on the sofa.
or else the curtains were down and the blinds were shut. And do you know what I mean? I wasn't moving out of the house because I was obviously broke.
And that is the worst
Do you know
thing.
what I mean? So that's where I was. I was too ashamed to leave the house to go and talk to people. And then I'll never forget the very first time I went to see a doctor. I didn't go to my own doctor, right? Because I did my own doctor.
No one.
To
The
think
stigma there.
I was struggling with my head, right? So you're there, all this stigma and all this thing, right? Then we talked about Colin, right? So Colin would have easily been probably the best footballer to ever grace this
Absolutely.
this showgrounds here, right? And I'll never forget him telling me on the Sunday night. So he passed away. He walked to Courtown on the Thursday night, and obviously he would have been after midnight. So it was Friday the 13th of November, right, 2003. He sat in my house on the Sunday and told me he was struggling. Do you know what? He was my best friend. I idolised him. I loved him to bits, right? I slept in the bed with him. I hugged him. I kissed him. We ate cheese singles, really classy fellas as we did, right?
I would didn't it?
And got into the bed, told him everything would be all right. But I told nobody because I didn't want anyone to think my best friend was struggling with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But that's not your like.
No.
That's the way the world is, isn't it?
But no, and I'm not going into that bit of it. But like I do always say in workshops, I give this example, right? Because I thought mental health and struggling with your head, and me and Colin would have had a lot of similarities, but I thought it was like having scabies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want anyone to think my best friend had scabies. Right?
Yeah.
So what happened. But then, like, fast forward now when I'm giving the workshops, I do say that there's a really powerful thing. Like when I was setting up MBK, I'd done a lot of courses and I work very closely with Talk to Tom on a lot of things, right? And they do a lovely course. It's called QPR training. And what QPR stands for is question, persuade, and refer. Yeah. So I done the question, but this is way before knowing any of this. Right? I done the question, I done the persuade, I hugged him, I got him a job, everything was good, right? But I never referred it because I didn't want anyone to know how bad my mate was.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward 4 years after that, when I'm in the fucking pits of depression and in a really bad place, my sister done the three things. Again, no knowledge of QPR, right? She came over, she found a clothesline. She got me to my doctor this time, right? And made sure it was referred on. And as opposed to she dropped over Christmas Day with Christmas presents for me and Eve and the little lad, I went to Colin's grave Christmas Day. Yeah. And that's how strong it is. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So just being brave enough to ask a friend the question, being brave enough to stand with him, but making sure you refer that on.
Yeah. Do
you know what I mean? And get that, like what you said, picking up the phone, letting that, ringing that therapist, ringing somebody. Do you know what I mean? Talking to somebody about, because it is massive. Like.
Oh, it is. But it's the first step is the hardest step.
Yeah. It's like coming out for a run. It's the very same. Yeah. The first step.
putting the shoes on to get out is the hardest one. Putting the shorts on to go to the gym is the hardest part. You know what I mean? Especially when you really don't want to.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, look at the world is not a nice place, sadly, and it can be a great place. But I think everyone needs to have their own therapy of some sort.
Yeah.
Sport isn't a super place to do it. Like, if you can see people who were drug addicts have took to sport, like, obviously it's working then. Like, if you're taking heroin and you've been an addict and now you're in sport, which is, there's massive ones like Joe Redmond, super runner triathlon, like, these guys are doing these things, like it has to be good for you. It'll be good for you if that's the case.
Irish light middleweight champion Craig O'Brien suffered with addiction, not heroin, thank God, but every other tablet and drug, he would say, right? And was locked up and everything. And Craig turned his life around through boxing. Do you know what I mean? And training as well.
And as well as that, like, it's I'm saying sport, you're saying sport, we're saying different sports now. It doesn't have to be sport either. It could be music. It could be immersing yourself in anything. But there's a why there for somebody, for everybody, should I say. And you just have to find your own one.
Yeah.
But definitely the bottom of a fucking pint glass, the fucking bottom of a fucking joint, the bag of coke, that's like, that stuff is, that's a one-way track to the wrong way. Yeah. And it's only going to go down.
It's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. And as I say, it doesn't discriminate against anyone. There's everyone that suffers a little bit.
And with that, like, and back to what we said, like, drugs has no class. Like, wealthy, poor,
makes no difference.
Class makes no difference. It's gonna hit.
Absolutely not.
It discriminates against nobody. Like,
no. Many a wealthy person has been broke from it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and this is the thing now we're seeing it. It's like there's people that are starting to take this stuff around 40, 50 years of age, and it's just...
and they think it's relieving pressure because they're busy in work.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's just...
it's going to lead to a lot worse.
It will eventually, but look, come here, right? So I like to always... We're 36 minutes in. I like to always pick a point, right? So if you... I know you since we're babies, right? Because we both started boxing way too young, probably, right? Which is probably the reasons for being as silly as we are. And my nose. And
mine is big enough.
Right? So, what would you say to... Right, so your dad was a superstar, right?
Yes.
Which... that would have put pile pressure on you, I'd imagine, growing up too.
Well, you'd pile it on yourself.
On yourself, not from your dad. But what would you say to 12-year-old Shane now?
What would I say to 12-year-old Shane? Worry about yourself.
Brilliant.
And I don't mean don't be worrying about other people, as in like
caring about
them. Yeah. But worry about yourself.
Yeah.
Think about yourself. Forget about what John said or what Paddy said or what he thinks or what that one thinks here.
Yeah.
And put an effort in. Simple as that.
And now, that's unbelievable advice. And genuinely, and that, for me, listen, that is worry about yourself. If we could all do that, you'd fix a lot of problems.
Fact.
Now, right, so to anyone in Ballycanew, 41 years of age, or 40, I'm a year younger.
Looks older.
I do look older, yeah. So, what advice to someone there now that's maybe, Shane, maybe he's struggling to put on a pair of runners. Maybe he's struggling to go for a walk. Maybe he's struggling to open the front door because their head is fried, right? What advice would you give to that person?
Take that first step.
You
have to take that first step. It will stay with you forevermore, no matter what it is. Whether it is calling someone, reaching out to a parent, reaching out to a sibling, reaching out to a friend, reaching out to someone on the end of the phone that you don't know through therapy.
Brilliant.
But just take that first step, because I'm telling you, it won't go away if not. Yeah. And it mightn't go away with therapy once, and it mightn't go away with therapy twice, and it mightn't go away with your first run or your second run. Yeah. But I guarantee you will find something. There's something out there for everyone.
Brilliant.
You know, and there's someone for everyone. As the relationships go. That's where the saying is. But take that first step. But this world is too big to be taken on your own.
Perfect. Look, I was going to ask you. Well, I am going to ask you as well. But if you have another one, holy Jesus, you need to do this instead of me. So I asked the young one, I asked the older one, and then I asked if you had one if you had a nugget of gold to give to us, a tiny bit of advice that's keeping you strong, or not keeping you strong, but that helps you on the bad days. But that take the first step is massive anyhow. But have you one thing that you would say to anyone out there now that, you know, this could sort that?
Oh, jeez, I don't know.
And I won't
You
lie,
know,
I'm probably going to name this episode "Taking the First Step" anyhow. Because that's massive.
yeah. Well, I think that's the big one. I suppose, Jesus, just don't suffer on your own. Just whatever's going on in your head, let it out.
Reach
I
out
can
to somebody.
guarantee you, if you have 500 best friends or one best friend, there's no one going to hold it against you, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Unless it's criminality or something. But
Yeah.
like, if it's the smallest little thing is annoying or triggering you, just fucking say it to someone. Don't fucking take it on your own, because it can, that little small thing of, it can just, it'll just snowball.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It'll just keep rolling, and it gets bigger and bigger, and you will not handle it on your own. And sadly, it can lead to detrimental things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I just reach out, take the first step. Right? You just have to fucking take some sort of step to help yourself, or your world is going to be horrendous for a long time.
Yeah.
And there's no need for it. Do you know what I mean? The world is too big to be handling on your own, but there's too much out there for everyone.
There is, and come here, look at how amazing. Like, we're in Gorey Town Park now. I'm going to bring him in and treat him to another coffee now. But I think from a disaster, from a fuck up point of view, which I know I am, right? And,
Same as that. War.
Well, but
Yeah, but everyone makes
I'm being
mistakes.
pieced together, right?
Yeah.
I'm being pieced together. I'm really lucky. And what I would say is that take the first step is massive advice, and reaching out are massive advice, right?
Yeah.
And my thing then as well is faith, right? And I have a massive faith, and it's good for me. But if you believed in a pigeon or that seagull and it was good for you, I'd be happy for you.
Well, this is it.
But when I say faith, I want people to have faith in themselves, right? Because we've all got through every shit day that we've ever had. Do you know what I mean? Every one of us had.
Yeah.
And it's just to remember that we can and we will get through this, and this too will pass. And it's a silly thing to say, but it's nearly learning to dance in the rain, or like going for a run in the rain. There's no one has ever fucking melted in the rain. Do you know what I mean? But
Well,
these things, when your head is in a bad place, you doubt everything.
Oh, well, sure. If you're not in the right place and you're sitting on your sofa, you're sitting in the edge of your bed and you're not in the right headspace,
Yeah.
1 kilometre is bigger than 100 kilometres.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's no doubt about it. But this shall pass is a big one, and that is a bit of a mantra. Steve Conor O'Keefe, now, who we know online, has a great online following, is an ultra runner himself. I've ran with him a few times and spoke with him while he was really getting into it, and say 16, 17 when I came over from Australia. This shall pass one. Like, you're a couple of 100 kilometres into an ultra run. Like, I've lived by that one.
Yeah.
And by fuck, it seems like the end is nowhere to be near. You know, and this shall pass, and this will pass, and it does.
And it is, but that's where I'm on with faith, and it is, and it's having to trust yourself that will.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brother,
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks a million, mate.
It's been a pleasure.
Run Furlong Shane. Run Furlong Shane on Instagram. Gentleman, a lunatic, but a gentleman. Thanks a million, folks.